Okay, so monster parents, and on a separate issue, asking children to move into lower lessons. So thank you for the question. This is a video response to a viewer by the name of David. Appreciate the support. So first off, monster parents. What is a monster parent? You can probably guess from the name, but to be totally clear, let me give you a definition. So it's a monster parent is the parent of a student with very, very extreme expectations from both what the school can provide and what they expect their child to be capable of doing. Sometimes they're, slightly annoying, and then sometimes the expectations really are borderline insane. And then on top of that, they'll often have a really nasty attitude, a way of dealing with teachers and staff. It is upsetting. It's emotionally upsetting and unnecessary. I worked at a place where a monster parent was able to make a staff member cry on the phone, which is really pretty intense. So they are an issue, and the source of a lot of stress for those who have to deal with them. Although I would say that it's not always 100% the fault of the parents that they do have these expectations. Sometimes it's also the fault of advertising in the industry and certain schools' kind of lip service to parents. Sometimes it's the campaigns themselves, the advertisements themselves, and sometimes it's the sales staff. And I only say that because I've seen it happen. And it's much more common at the expensive schools than it is at your run-of-the-mill neighborhood eikaiwa, which is what I'm running. So that said, my experience with them as an owner in my own place has been pretty limited. I've only had one, and he came in for a trial with his son, and I could kind of tell where it was going. I got the monster parent vibe from him. So I was very, very clear in the trial about what kind of services I could provide for his son and what kind of results would be forthcoming from that. And he kind of figured it out that I wasn't going to give him any lip service. And in doing that, I also avoided a lot of stress and hassle, which is kind of my policy. I don't like putting myself in a position where I am expected to give something to somebody that I can't give, especially when there's money involved. So that's been my experience so far. At other schools, I've had plenty of experience with monster parents, and that's normally how it is for teachers here. You're working for someone else, and you really have no idea what's actually being said to the parent or what the parent's actually saying. You just get kind of secondhand requests. Some of them are pretty bizarre, and some of them are completely unrealistic. And it usually involves a lot of covering, trying to make things look okay for the parent. And it's just kind of something you have to deal with as a teacher over here. And I'm sure it happens, in the States and elsewhere. The monster parent phenomenon is a nasty one. So I choose to just not even have them sign up if I can. But I have dealt with them in the past. As far as your second issue, or question I should say, about moving children into lower level lessons, I've tried it at other places, but it was always shot down by staff. They were afraid of losing the tuition and or the school losing face. So that I never got very far with that. If it comes to that here, I'll try to be as honest as possible with the kids. If the parents aren't, with the kids' parents, I should say, I would try to be as honest as possible. If the parents aren't really into the whole idea, I might request we do some review, and use material from the level they should be in. It's a really case-by-case issue, so take it as it comes. But yeah, it's a great question. Monster parents, how do you deal with them? I'd say the best resolution is, prevention. What do they say? Prevention is the best cure. So if you don't have any monster parents, you won't have to deal with them. But if you do, it can be really tricky. And again, I guess it all comes back to customer service. And when it comes down to it, if you are not able to, honestly not able to satisfy your customer, my belief is it's best to tell them that and potentially lose the tuition. Before I opened, I did a little research into how to convince, for lack of a better word, undesirable students and or their undesirable parents of students to go away. And the best advice I received was to simply tell them that you can't provide what they're offering, and fix my collar here, and to make it clear that you won't be asking for the tuition for the next month, and if it's necessary, you can also offer to refund this month's tuition. And a number of owners have told me that's the best way to do it. So hopefully that's useful to someone out there as a means of diplomatically ending any kind of unhealthy business relationship. So there it is. Thanks again for the question, and please keep them coming. It goes out to anyone